Well, well, well. Here we are again. Is it Thursday? I think it's Thursday. Welcome to Live at 5. Live at 5 is a stream that I do on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday on my main channel. On Fridays, we head over to my second channel, Actively Unwoke, for happy hour. On Saturdays, sometimes I rest, sometimes we do Sassy Saturday. We are not doing Sassy Saturday this particular Saturday because I have something else I have to do. And then I get up on Sunday to do it all over again. Well, guys, it's been a little bit of a tough week. It's been a tough week. I've had all sorts of bullshit going on in terms of something that I'm no longer allowed to talk about publicly. Well, I can if I want to. I'm just choosing. I've had lots of bullshit going on. My locals know about it. I'm respecting the requests of my publisher to no longer talk about it publicly for the moment. And then we had this row thing come down, and that's been causing me a lot of consternation because I pretty much think that this leaked row repeal is going to sabotage everything that I've tried to do for the last 2 years and every major advance that we have had and every effort that we have made. And so I've been feeling a little down. I've been feeling a little depressed. I've been feeling a little black-pilled. But then, I don't know, for some reason, we watched leftist abortion content yesterday and it revved me up a little bit and it fired me up. And I may have said some spicy things on my stream yesterday that we're going to talk about today. Because sometimes when you play pranks and make jokes, people who lack a sense of humor think that they're real. So we're going to talk about that today. But guys, I just want to do a little bit more of a lighthearted, fun stream today. Can we just all wrap our heads around can we just kick back, put up our feet, and have some fun, and have some jokes, and have some laughs, and maybe talk about some spicier things going on in the news? I'm going to give you a preview of some of the things we're going to talk about on this stream. We're going to talk about the fact, I shit you not, the teachers' unions are paying money to run ads attacking libertarians in New Hampshire. This is real. I keep telling you guys, in New Hampshire, the Democrats don't hate the Republicans the most. The Republicans are not even the biggest enemy of the Democrats in New Hampshire. The Libertarians are the enemy. They're taking out money to run ads against the Free State Project. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about why they might be doing that, because breaking news, the New Hampshire Senate just passed a Parental Bill of Rights, and that's going to Chris Sununu's desk to sign. And so we're going to read that bill and find out what's in it. We're going to talk about this lady who I had never heard of before last night, Kathy Barnette. Kathy is pretty fabulous. This might really confuse some pro-life people in the crowd. They're like, Karlyn, aren't you a pro-abortionist leftist? Well, I may be pro-choice. I'm not a leftist, but I do appreciate fighters. If there's one thing you guys should have learned about me by now, it's that even if I don't agree with you, if you bring that fighting spirit and I think you're actually going to do something, then I will have your back even if I disagree with you, because a fighter that I disagree with is actually better to me right now than a lazy ass Republican or anyone that's lazy that refuses to get off their ass and do something. And I think Kathy might be one of those people, and we're going to watch some of Kathy's greatest hits that I found last night, and I think they might be inspiring to people. And then if we have some time, I've got some news stories. We might do them today. We might do them another day. But apparently a pansexual Florida teacher was canned for discussing her orientation with students. And for another bit of good news, Georgia High School Association uses new law to implement anti-trans sports ban. We might get to those. We might not. If we don't get to them today, we will get to them on Sunday for Effed Up News. Don't worry. But the real attraction for the day is I accidentally, on purpose, kind of challenged Lydia of Timcast IRL to a charity boxing match yesterday. And even though we aren't having Sassy Saturday, even though we aren't having it this week, I am still giving out an award for sass And that award is going to the queen, Patrice. Now, the reason that we're talking about this, and we're gonna play through how this actually played out. The reason we're gonna talk about this is, I wasn't actually expecting this to make its way onto the show onto their show last night. And I certainly wasn't expecting Lydia to actually respond to it. So here's what we're gonna do. We are going to talk about. Well, first, I'm going to show you the clip from yesterday's stream. I'm going to show you Lydia's response to it. I am going to have a response to Lydia, but then I'm going to talk about the origin story of the charity boxing match. We're going to talk about if Lydia wants to fight me in a charity boxing match at Porkfest, I mean, maybe, I don't know, but like, it kind of like it perturbs me a little bit that people actually thought that this was serious. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the origin story for the charity boxing match and why that is something I threaten when I think people are acting woke. And yes, I do think Lydia on occasion acts woke. I do. So that's going to be where we start off today, just because, why not? Why not? Hey man, if Lydia really wants a charity boxing match, I guess I have like a couple months, almost a couple months to get into shape for Porkfest. I don't know. We'll see. But before we get into that, guys, if you enjoy my antics, if you enjoy my perverse sense of humor, if you enjoy that occasionally I will make challenges to bitches on the internet who have lied all over the fucking internet about me, and we'll talk more about that. If you enjoy these things and you want extra access to my shenanigans and extra access to my snark and just want to keep me on the internet in general, the best way that you can do that is by becoming a member of my Locals community. Locals is the best place on the internet. Locals is the home of the origin story for the charity boxing match and how this all came about. And we're going to watch proof of that in a little bit. But guys, when you become a member of my Locals community, you get access to lots of exclusive things, to include 2 Zoom calls with me every single week. We do them on Mondays at 7 p.m. We do them on Wednesdays at noon. This week, I have spent 9.5 hours on private, unrecorded Zoom calls with my Locals community. And on those Zoom calls, we plan things like jokes and pranks and ways to fuck with people psychologically that are bothering us and that annoy us. Because, listen, I have been telling you guys, like, my channel is a work hard, play hard channel. We do things that are productive in my Locals. We do the journalism that real journalists refuse to do because they're too busy fucking around on Twitter. We do things like investigating school districts specifically to expose their grooming nonsense, to try to shift culture, to lead to the ultimate defunding of the schools. We do things like random live streams throughout the course of the week where I talk shit about my enemies more than I even do on YouTube. And we generally like each other and support each other and lift each other up and do everything that we can to keep our sanity in this crazy land in which we live. And if you'd like to get access to all of that and much, much more, head over to kb.locals.com/support. You can sign up for $5 a month, which is, of course, less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks. You can sign up for $50 a year, which gives you 2 months for free. You can also make a one-time gift. I appreciate all of these things. And if you're not quite ready to do that yet, that's okay. You can join for free too. You can just head over to kb.locals.com and just join for free. I strongly encourage everyone to join for free, just because when you join for free, you get to take a look around, you get to see what's going on, you get to have proof that, unlike in most Locals communities, my Locals community actually has stuff going on every single day because we do lots of stuff together. We actually are a genuine community. We have used this platform to build human connections, authentic relationships with each other. So you can just take a look around, by joining for free. And the other benefit of that too is it gives me another way to contact you in case I ever get a stupid YouTube strike or I get banned on something. You know, I'm always going to have a home base in locals. Well, probably always going to have a home base. That's actually part of the story as well. They have tried to cancel me from locals before. It hasn't worked yet. But if you get into locals, at least I will have a way to contact you. And that's really what it's all about at the end of the day. All right, let's jump into it. Why are we talking about me having a charity boxing match with Lydia? Well, it all started yesterday. It started yesterday in the middle of this crazy leftist abortion stream that we were doing. We watched a couple videos, and then all of a sudden, our queen and hero Patrice decided to chat me in some news that I had not yet been made aware of. Patrice chatted in that someone chatted into Timcast saying that I had concerns about the Roe being repealed. And apparently, and I haven't even watched that yet because I don't actually really care, but apparently Lydia, and this is according to Patrice, so if this is wrong, it's Patrice's fault. According to Lydia, I was misinformed. And I took a little bit of umbrage with this. Let's watch how this played out. It's like brand new. Wait, hang on. They said you weren't happy about the decision and it will cause more problems for women who walked away. Lydia says, I think Karlyn is misinformed, all self-righteous. Like, Lydia does not know what the fuck she's talking about because Lydia is allowing her own pro-life bullshit to cloud her judgment. And someone can super chat this shit in. You can super chat. Someone please super chat into Tim Pool's show tonight that Karlyn thinks that Lydia is biased and her judgment is completely clouded and she has no business calling me misinformed. If Lydia, I challenge Lydia to a debate right now on who is more informed on this issue. Hang on. So James says she said I was misled. I don't think I was misled either. And if Lydia thinks that I am dumb enough to be misled, maybe we really should have a charity boxing match. Or at least a debate or a discussion. But no, I do not believe that I have been misled, Lydia, at all, in any way. Let's keep going. Lydia will never do it. I would overpower Lydia in about 3.5 seconds. I would overpower Lydia in about 3.5 seconds. Come on my channel, Lydia. We'll see who's more misinformed. It'll never happen. That'll never happen. Maybe I can challenge Lydia to a charity boxing match. Lydia, are you coming to PorkFest? Do you want to have a charity boxing match at PorkFest? Lydia, maybe we could do an abortion debate at PorkFest. I know the organizer. Want to do an abortion debate at PorkFest? Oh, Lydia doesn't contribute anything on that fucking show. I'm sorry. She doesn't. That was kind of mean of me, but I still stand by it. I was mean there, but I still stand by it. Okay, we're not going to complain about that. I'm sure she's great at pushing buttons. I'm great at pushing buttons too. Other kinds of buttons. Not like that, Morgan. I wasn't talking about that. Oh, yeah. PorkFest is already a shit show. I am challenging everyone to a charity boxing match at PorkFest. It's consensual violence. It is consensual violence. Anyway. All right, so that's what happened on the stream yesterday. I got egged on. I challenged Lydia to a charity boxing match. I said that people should super chat into Tim's show and say, Karlyn challenges Lydia. And to be fair, Patrice, I said challenge Lydia to a debate. But Patrice, because she's a goddess and our weekly queen of sass for this week, Patrice knows my sense of humor because Patrice and I have been hanging out for like a minute in locals. So Patrice knows my sense of humor and she knew exactly what to do next. And this happened last night on the show. And I was a little surprised. I gotta tell you, okay, so true story. Patrice DM'd this to me last night and I was like really stoned. I was fucking dying. I basically almost fell off my bed. I was rolling, laughing so hard. Patrice, I cannot believe you pulled this off. And listen, we are going to talk about like there is there is a thought process behind me throwing shit like this out there. I'm gonna talk about this in a second, but let's just let's watch Tim read this super chat just completely fucking straight.
All right, Patrice Bake. Well, this last one says, Lydia, Karlyn Borisenko challenged you to a boxing match. She's well informed about women leaving the left.
Hang on. I have to give Tim kudos here for a second because Tim Pool pronounced my name correctly, both my first name and my last name. I mean, listen, guys, both my first name and last name are extremely difficult to pronounce for like normal people, and Tim Pool is not always the best pronouncer of names. So can we just give Tim Pool a slow clap for pronouncing both my first and last name correctly? I'm serious about this. Like, well done, Tim. Well done. Well, on the fly, too. He didn't even have to think about it, man. All right. Let's keep going. Let's hear Lydia's response.
A boxing match, huh? I'm pretty sure I'm about a foot taller than her, but we could try. We're probably...
No, Lydia, you are not a foot taller than me. I'm 5'6". You are not a foot taller than me at all in any way. But if you want to, like, if you wouldn't even scare me if you were, dude. Wow.
Different weight classes might be fun.
Well,
Lydia, we are not in different weight classes.
All right, everybody. If you have not already, please smash that like button.
That's it. That's all Lydia had to say. I just want to watch Tim read that again. That was fucking funny.
He says, Ian, I am an expert on IP
goddamn
law and all on Google first result.
I should have.
I'm about a foot taller than her, but we could...
Lydia's family 6 feet 6 inches.
Yeah, I know he's been saying that he's never done it. That's why I'm kind of like, I don't know, whatever.
Who do you guys think would win? Who do you think would win while we're getting this to come up? Who would win
All right, Patrice
in a
Bake.
Boxing match?
Well, this last one says, Lydia, Karlyn Borisenko challenged you to a
Lydia?
boxing match. She's well informed about women leaving the left.
A boxing match, huh? I'm pretty sure I'm about a foot taller than her, but we could try. We're probably in different weight classes.
Oh,
Might be
God.
fun.
Oh,
Well,
God. I would totally kick Lydia's ass. Absolutely. So that's what happened. So I guess Lydia has accepted my invitation for a charity boxing match, but sorry, that's not actually going to happen. I'm sorry. Yeah, Lydia, like, why does Lydia think she's a foot taller than me? Whatever. But I wanted to talk about the origin story of this because, you know, some people might be a little confused about why Patrice, like the queen that she is, super chatted into Tim Pool's show on my behalf, challenging Lydia to a boxing match. There is actually an origin story behind this. Okay? So here is the story. And it looks like 74% of you think I would win so far in the charity boxing match. So we'll see. The charity boxing match is not going to happen. I don't care if Lydia agrees or not. Because it is a joke. It is a joke about fantasizing your ability to beat the ever-loving crap out of people that you do not like in your head so that you don't do it in real life. Now, here is what happened. So we have to go back a couple of months. Well, actually, no, we have to go back longer. So listen, every time I talk about other people on this channel, what happens is that I inevitably get comments saying, Karlyn, you just have feuds with everyone. You are the common denominator. Everyone hates you. Why does everyone hate you, Karlyn? No, I am not the common denominator among the people, the limited group of people that I have beef with on the internet. Do you know who is the common denominator? We've already had her name in the chat. Karen Town Crier Smith is the common fucking denominator between all of the people who I have beef with. And Lydia is one of those people. Now, I actually don't care about Lydia either way, to be really blunt. I don't care. I don't like her. I don't dislike her. I have never actually had strong feelings about her one way or the other. But what happened is that over a year ago, I got some information on Lydia that I really, quite frankly, shouldn't have had. And I was not the only one who got this information. Mike Harlow also got this information. Mike Harlow also connected to Carrie Smith. And basically, Carrie told Lydia that I had gone around blabbing about this information. And that was a lie. I was not the one who blabbed about the information. The other one blabbed about the information. But Carrie told Lydia that I had blabbed about the information, and then the two of them proceeded to spread lies about me around the internet, more Carrie than Lydia, to be fair, for the entire fucking year. And so at some point, I got sick of this, and I said, you know what? If I'm going to be accused of doing this all over the internet, and I never even had a fucking conversation with Lydia. Again, like, I don't know her from Tuesday. But if I'm going to be accused of something for a solid year and have all sorts of nonsense spewed about me on the internet, eventually I'm going to do something about it because you're going to piss me off. And in this particular case, I started blabbing the information that I knew privately in my locals community where I had much more control over the situation because it was like, you know what? If you're going to accuse me of doing something anyway, I'm going to fucking do it. This is one of the benefits of being a member of my local Zoom calls because I will tell things on my local Zoom calls that I will not say publicly. So that's what happened. That is why there is beef between the two of us. Because Carrie Smith fucking lied to Lydia about what happened, and then Lydia started hating me for no good reason when she's never even had a conversation with me, and then she started shit-talking me all over the fucking internet, and I just got tired of it. But that's not the origin story for the charity boxing match. The origin story for the charity boxing match goes back to, you guessed it, ding ding ding, Carrie fucking Smith. This is the origin story. So, a couple months ago, on in mid-February, I think, I did a stream about about the epic amount of garbage that Carrie Smith talks about me online. It's still on this channel. If you want to go back and watch 3.5 hours of me detailing the epic amount of bullshit that I have had to endure from Carrie Smith, you can go and watch it. I'm not going to rehash the whole thing here. This is a stream that I did in my locals community the day after that expose stream about Carrie. And essentially what had happened is Carrie Smith has this little horde of people that she's involved with. I don't know if she's involved less now than she was then, but again, these are all of the people that come at me on the internet all the time. And the origin story of the charity boxing match essentially is that I like to play mind games with people, and sometimes when I call it psychological fuckery, I've talked about psychological fuckery on this channel, and eventually sometimes my psychological fuckery gets a little out of hand, and it manifests in really weird ways. And so what had happened that had caused me to do that stream about Carrie was essentially because I was fucking with Carrie, playing mind games, I accidentally convinced Carrie that I was using, I swear to God this is true. I accidentally convinced Carrie that I was using my locals community to organize a posse with which to hunt her. Carrie actually believed in real life that I was organizing a hunting posse to go and actually hunt her and her friends. I don't know where she got this from. I really do not. But because Carrie thought that I had organized a hunting posse, Carrie then got a mass amount of people to report me to locals for threatening violence against her. And one of the things that happened was I threatened, they clipped something out of context where I basically said to Carrie, I was like, Carrie, if you come to Porkfest, I'm gonna beat the ever-loving fuck out of you. And then I paused and I said, I wouldn't really do that, but that felt really good to say. And they clipped it out of context and they sent it to locals to try to get my fucking locals canceled. So no, I never threatened violence because I do not believe in violence. But this all pissed me off so much that I was like, you know what? I'm so sick of this bullshit. I just started talking about it publicly. So this all started with psychological fuckery. In terms of, like, I don't know exactly what I said to convince Carrie that we were forming a posse, but that really happened. And then Carrie responded, and then I responded to her, and this is all very childish and mean girl, and I acknowledge that. But this is me the day after the expose stream. And I want to play some of this because there is actually a thought process behind this. Listen, there are obviously people on the internet that I do not like. I am sure that many of you have have people in your lives that you do not like. Usually it comes in the form of a boss. It comes in the form of someone who has authority over you that tells you to do stuff that like it just drives you crazy. Now, I happen to think that one of the very best ways that you can work through those feelings of not liking someone productively, I think that one of the very best ways you can do that is to visualize yourself kicking the ever-loving shit out of that person. Visualize it. Because when we do things in our when we visualize things in our heads, to our brain, it is no different functionally than if we did it in real life. So obviously, we can't kick the shit out of our boss. We can't kick the shit out of our internet enemies. We can't do any of those things, right? We can't do that because we go to jail, and that would be bad. We don't want anyone going to jail. But we can think about it, and we can fantasize about it, and sometimes we can, you know, say things that are a little bit spicy just to see what happens, just to see how they react when we have no intention of actually doing those things. I'm gonna take you guys back to when I got the no trespass order for going to that school board meeting. And the crime that I committed was I yelled at out at a school board meeting. I yelled, "We know where you live." And they stopped the school board meeting immediately and they all left and it was great. But I didn't actually know where they lived. It was a threat. It wasn't really a threat. It was like a oh god, I shouldn't say it was a threat, should I? No, it wasn't a threat. It was a statement of fact. They took it as a threat, but it was a statement of fact. The threat of the thing is not the same thing as the thing itself. But you can use the threat of the thing sometimes to fuck with people in ways that are fun, in ways that are amusing, in ways that get them to react. And sometimes when you have enemies on the internet, that can be fun and amusing. That's what this is. We're a work hard, play hard community, and that's what that came from. Jared says, for the record, Karlyn has never instigated violence. Her mouth does tend to get her into trouble, in my opinion, but never has she ever told anyone in her community to attack or hurt verbally. No, I have not. No, I have not. I just like to, I'm a psychologist, man. I like to sometimes screw with people. But I want to play yes, exactly. This is fun. This is like a game. You got them to read a message. They got money. No harm was done to anyone. No violence was had. I'm sorry, but this is the origin story for the charity boxing match. So I want to kind of play some of this stream that I did in my locals and we'll talk through it. And guys, this is another benefit you get. Even if you're a free member in my locals, I do exclusive streams in my locals all the time where you can watch them for free. You don't even have to pay to join. But it's just like they're streams where I talk more about my thoughts and feelings and just like my thought process behind a lot of this stuff. So that's kind of what you get in my locals. It's a little bit different from my YouTube or my Odyssey or my Rockfin or any of that. Let's watch a little bit of this stream and we can talk about it. I've been getting some, Carrie's haters are not happy. They're like, they're downvoting the video. They're people who are still allowed to reply. Like I've been having fun blocking them on YouTube because they're doing the thing where they're coming in, they're being like, Karlyn, you are just not the person that I thought you were. I have been a fan since the beginning and I can't take it anymore. And I'm like, I don't even know who you are and have never seen your screen name before. So I may have started this a little early. We'll find the best spots in the stream. Patrice says, no one is calling for cancellation or harm. We wished her well yesterday. We gave Lydia very good advice yesterday. We gave her very good advice yesterday about being dominant in the bedroom with her new husband, which I think would be very good for Lydia. I think it would be a great start to her marriage. I think it would be very good for Lydia personally to develop more personal power because sometimes we do things in the bedroom that manifests in real life. I think that Lydia would experience a boat ton of general benefits from putting on some dominatrix type gear and strapping her husband to the bed and taking charge. And I think that's sage life advice. Don't think you're actually a fan. One of Adam's fans commented as an effective. Here it is. Where I'm getting into it. Take this out of context. I don't believe in violence. I do believe in threatening people to fuck with their heads. Yes, I do, and
But
I'm
I
not
don't
sorry
actually
for it. Believe in violence, but I do believe in fucking with people's heads as an
Yes.
effective tactic of war. Did I actually do anything wrong? I mean, we could argue that I got really close to the line, but it's not like I hit her. I didn't actually hit her. I didn't even attempt to hit her. Although why didn't anyone chat into Timcast to teach Lydia about critical dominatrix theory? Someone should absolutely No, don't. I'm gonna start getting a reputation. I don't want that type of, well, maybe I already have that type of reputation. Maybe I already do. No, but for real though, here's the thing about psychological fuckery that people need to understand. Psychological fuckery has absolutely no power. It is completely ineffective if the person that you are fucking with doesn't allow it to. Psychological fuckery becomes completely ineffective if you just say, nope, don't believe you, don't take you seriously. Like, this is the genius of this whole thing, because I'm not actually doing anything. The only thing I'm doing is saying words on the internet. I have repeatedly denounced violence in any of its form. I've repeatedly talked about how lazy I am when it comes to working out. So obviously I'm not going to be participating in a charity boxing match. Like, you just have to, people need to bring some logic to these things. Is Karlyn serious when she says a charity boxing match? No. I am obviously not serious. I would dream about hitting her, and I have dreamt about hitting her. That's in my head. That's not real life. I wouldn't actually ever enact violence in real life. You know, sometimes Joshua and I used to have this conversation. Like, if you really hate someone, if you really hate them, it is perfectly okay. Hang on. Actually fantasize. Hang on. This is not the super chat, LK. No. I don't think Lydia needs to be tied up. I think Lydia needs to be the dom. I think Lydia needs to do the tying up. I don't think Lydia needs, I'm sorry, Lydia does not need any more practice in being submissive. She needs zero more practice in being submissive. No, wrong. So critical dominatrix theory can work both ways, right? Critical dominatrix theory can be about, if you are here is how it generally works. If you are a powerful person in real life, generally you need to be you be more submissive in bed. And if you are a submissive person in real life, you generally can gain benefit from being a more powerful person in bed. So it's like opposites. So no, I don't think Lydia needs to be dominated. I think she needs to be the dom. About beating that person up. As long as it's just in your head. Because sometimes our brain doesn't know the difference between what we think and what we do in the real world. And so if you really hate someone and they're causing a lot of problems in your life,
Yes.
I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing.
That's
to
a much
fantasize
closer
about punching
super
them
chat.
in the face. But it's just a fantasy. It's not real. You don't ever hit people in real life unless you are defending yourself. But I don't frankly see anything wrong with fantasizing about it. Sorry, I don't. We all have darker sides of our personalities. We all have, this is what it's like a shadow self. Right? It's a shadow self. We all have darker sides of our personality. We all have darker aspects of ourselves. And in order to be fully functional human beings, we need to find a way to integrate those darker aspects of our personality into our full being. If we deny those darker aspects of our personality, that's when someday we're going to blow. That's true. That's really good advice. I would absolutely much rather someone fantasize and imagine beating someone that they don't like up than doing it in real life, than seeing that person in real life and snapping because they haven't mitigated those thoughts in their head. I would much rather someone fantasize about it than snap and do it in real life. Every day. That puts you in complete control. That's you taking responsibility for your feelings and saying, I really hate this bitch. And it would, oh my God, it would feel so good. Listen, guys, it is okay to hate people. There is nothing wrong with hating people. You are not like, spoiler alert, you are not going to be best friends with everyone in your life. And sometimes you need to be around people that you dislike. Sometimes you need to be around people that are causing you trouble. Listen, I can't escape this internet stalker chambermaid brigade. As long as I'm on the internet, the chambermaid brigade, which is our nickname for the nonsense people that are just engaging in high school mean girl drama all day, every day, like, I cannot escape them. It is not possible. So I have to do things to try to mitigate my emotions. Otherwise, I would just be pissed off and unfocused all the time. And I'm not always perfect at it, but I think I do a fairly good job given the amount of harassment that I take from these people. And this is the same thing. And this is true for, like, again, if you have a boss that you can't stand, but that boss is your boss, they are inescapable, you need to deal with that boss in order to pay your mortgage. It is perfectly fine and acceptable for you to fantasize about murdering your boss in the worst possible way. Fantasize in your head, not act it out in real life. I am not encouraging violence in any way, but you think about, and you can do all sorts of crazy shit. You can do as much crazy shit as you want, because that's going to allow you to work through feelings so that you don't go into work and your boss looks at you the wrong way and you snap and you yell at them and you get fired. It is a highly practical thing to do. It might sound weird, but it is a highly, highly practical thing to do. And I'm going to talk more about this when we're in the course of this little stream right here. Deborah says, I used to have clients who needed to chop wood for heating their homes, visualize their horrible bosses as pieces of wood. Yeah, you can do this anytime. Chopping wood. You know, if you're cooking a steak, stabbing the meat. Like, it's okay to get a little bit morbid with this, because again, we're talking about the land of fantasy. This is not acted out in real. Dartboards, yes, Patrice, that is an excellent suggestion. Dartboards with people's faces. Yep. So there's any number of ways that you can do this, and you shouldn't feel bad because this is only in your head. You haven't done anything in real life. You haven't hurt this person. But I can't hit her in real life because then I would get arrested and then I would go to jail and that would suck. Yeah, yell at no one in the shower. It would give her way too much satisfaction, but I can imagine. Is it illegal to imagine Brian. Things yet? Sorry. Is it illegal to fantasize about things? And I think if we're honest, most of us have dreamt about the moment where we hit the person that we don't like. That doesn't mean we actually go and hit the person we don't like. It just means it was in our head. There is nothing wrong with that. They're gonna send this whole stream to Logan and be like, look, we told you Karlyn was preaching violence. And I'll be like, no, Karlyn said several times, don't hit anyone, don't take people's stuff. The reason that you fantasize about it is so you don't do it in real life. You get it out of your system. You work through some feelings. Why do you think people go to the gym and hit a punching bag? Most of the time, when people are going to the gym to hit a punching bag, they're dreaming about hitting their boss. Most of the time, when people are hitting a punching bag, they're dreaming about hitting their boss. Is that illegal now? Does Carrie want to outlaw punching bags? Are words violence? Are thoughts violence? Is Carrie Smith and her merry band of hoarding bullies? God damn it, I gotta stop calling them hoarders. I don't know why I'm calling them hoarders. Is Carrie's horde of bullies, are they gonna try to argue that words are violence, or even better, that thoughts are violence? Is that what we're talking about now? I haven't committed violence in my entire life. I don't think anyone here has committed unnecessary violence. Unnecessary. Hang on, I'm gonna fast forward a little bit because I think this is I know. Thoughts are violence. You fantasize so you don't do it in real life. I'm allowed to. Sorry if that makes you uncomfortable, Carrie. It makes me uncomfortable that you've tweeted about me 69 times in the past. No, over 70 times now. Over 70 times in the past 2 months. That makes me extremely uncomfortable. Yes. But I'm not here going, tweets are violence. It's true. It's true. God. Then what are we doing? Yeah, like if you beat someone up in a fantasy. Yeah, like if you beat someone up in a fantasy, like you can be like the strongest person in the history of the world. You don't hurt your hand when you punch them. It's like you're fine. You knock them down in one blow. But it's just a fantasy. It's not real. You know they're going to report me for this stream to locals. And then I'm going to get a call from Ruben. He's going to be like, Karlyn, why are you talking about fantasizing about violence? I said, Dave, I'm just talking about visualization exercises that you can use at the gym. I'm just talking about standard visualization exercises that we use when we're learning how to box. And here we go. I've never taken a boxing class. I once thought I would be really good at boxing. I think I'd be really good at it. I also think I thought I would be really good at fencing. I wanted to learn how to fence at one point. Yeah, people have pent up energy. I feel like I'm doing the world a favor by challenging Lydia to a charity boxing match. And telling the origin
Nick says,
story. Has to be imminent violence. You said a gesture for something months away out of anger, which you immediately denounced. Exactly. Exactly. They reported me to locals for something that I said, if you come to this event in June. And then I immediately said I wouldn't really do that, but it felt really good to say. You know, I also have a really easy solution. Carrie doesn't actually have to come to Porkfest. This is like the easiest solution of all. It's probably the best solution of all for everyone involved. I mean, Carrie's, you know, I can't control who comes to Porkfest and who doesn't, but Carrie Smith does not have to come to Porkfest. Porkfest is going to sell out very soon if you haven't gotten your tickets. Porkfest is going to sell out regardless of whether Carrie Smith comes or not. So she is welcome not to come, and this entire point is moot. Like, I promise we're getting to the charity boxing match. She is not. She's not even a libertarian. She's not a libertarian. She's not a free stater. She doesn't have to come. Problem solved. Sarah says, I would like to smack Satan down, but he is in spirit. But Sarah, in your head, you can fantasize about that. How great is that? You can work out your feelings in your head, in meditation, or in dream, or in fantasy. Let me see. I love when I do impromptu streams that you guys don't even know I'm doing, and the chat is still going the whole time. It's fantastic. Have I ever asked Dave, who has a large audience, how he deals with haters and trolls? I think he just doesn't look at it. But you also gotta keep in mind, and I don't know, like I haven't had this conversation with him, but like, I think it's coming up. Like, sorry guys, I should have queued this up better. Like, for normal haters and trolls, people saying nonsense on Twitter or making stupid memes, calling me a cow or a pig, I don't actually really care. I don't actually care. I just block them and I move on with life. That doesn't matter to me. That's not what Carrie Smith's little horde of bullies is doing. Carrie Smith's little horde of bullies is trying to get my income canceled. They're trying to get me canceled because they're pissed off I got nominated for governor in a race that I'm not even seriously running at the moment. But if they keep this shit up, they're actually gonna make me seriously run for governor. And I'm actually probably gonna be pretty upset with them if that happens. But like, and I do actually have to get more serious about my governor's race for other reasons, not for that now, and I'm not happy about that. All right, it looks like 55% of you believe that I would win in the charity boxing match against Lydia, and I'm pretty sure I would absolutely win. But I appreciate the endorsements of how tall is Lydia? Like, why does Lydia think she's like a foot taller than me? How tall is she in real life? I have no idea. I don't think she's a foot taller than me, though. Liberty Line says, usually more of a mediator. Most violence I was done was sanctioned in sport. Oh, here it is. This is the epiphany. Let's see. Just scrolling. Yeah, Nick says, I bet they argue that video games are violence. Carrie, are video games violence? If I make a video game where there's a me character and a Carrie character and we can fight, like I'm sure there are games we can do that, right? Where you can customize the characters. And I beat your ass in a video game, is that considered violence? Because I'm never going to beat your ass in real life. It's a really good idea, by the way. Unless you want to get into a boxing ring with me. Oh, Carrie, I will challenge you to a charity boxing match.
There it is.
Where we both get in the ring. That would be great. I've never boxed in my life, but I would actually do that. Carrie, I will do a charity boxing match with you for the charity of your choice. That way we both agree. But unless there is some sort of agreement, I'm never going to be able to hit you in real life because I don't believe in that. But if you want to do a charity boxing match, Carrie, I would absolutely 100% do a charity boxing match. Charity of your choice. I will donate I will donate $1,000 to a charity of your choice. For my
It's, like, all
ultimate
nice
best
and
ideas.
proper.
It's sanctioned. We'd sign a contract. We'd have gloves. I'd have to learn how to box. We'd have to have a stipulation in the contract that, like, a timeline for the charity boxing match. Because, like, I'm gonna need some time. So that is essentially the origin story for the charity boxing match. Now, I have put a poll into the chat on YouTube. Who would win in a charity boxing match between me and Carrie? We've already done me and Lydia. 55% of you think I would have kicked Lydia's ass in a charity boxing match. Who would win between me and Carrie? So this is essentially the origin story. So anytime you guys hear me say, like, challenge someone to a charity boxing match, it's not real. I am not really challenging anyone to a boxing match. I don't care that much. It is just a joke based on the idea that you should be able to fantasize about beating up your enemies, and it's okay because it is only fantasy. That's it. That is the origin story of this. Though I do think, I was picturing in my head, I was like, what if we had, like, an old-timey, like, boxing ring? I don't know. It could be kind of fun. Maybe I should. Maybe you know what's gonna happen is someday, somehow, someone is gonna take me seriously about the charity boxing match, and then I'm actually gonna have to train for a charity boxing match. I think someone said in the chat that that Lydia's 5'9". Okay, Lydia, still not a foot taller than me. I am 5'6" tall. Why does Lydia think I'm short? My God. So that is the story. That's all it was. I don't want to hear any grief. I don't actually want to be in a boxing match with Lydia. I don't even think they're coming to Porkfest anyway, or at least I haven't heard that they are. That's it. And I do want to encourage everyone that if you are having feelings about other people, it is okay to work through them in your head. It is okay to say things out loud. It is not okay to enact violence. It is not okay to hit people. It is not okay to steal people's stuff. It is okay to fuck with people, though. Though perhaps, just some helpful advice. Perhaps you don't want to get quite good enough at fucking with people that you get to, like, my level where you actually accidentally convince people that you are forming a posse to hunt them. I'm sorry. It's, like, not funny, but it is. Like, I don't know how people take this seriously. Life should be fun, man. Life should be fun. All right, guys, that is the first section of our show today, but we got some other stuff to talk about. If you're enjoying the stream so far, please make sure you mount that like button. Please make sure you are subscribed to the channel if you're not already. Oh, John Morgan, what a great idea. Like The Sims. Yeah, can't you, like, kill people and set things on fire or things in The Sims? I'm pretty sure you can. I haven't played. I played that game when it first came out. Way back in the day. Way. I've not played that game in years. But that's also that's also a good way to work out some feelings that you might have for other people. All right. Let's talk about how much the Democrats in New Hampshire hate the Libertarians. I never thought I would see the day. I never thought I would see the day that Democrats would actually be spending money on running ads opposing libertarians. So here's what happened. A little bit of backstory. There is a town in New Hampshire called Croydon. In Croydon, this year, they defunded the schools. The Libertarians and the Free Staters concocted a plan to cut the school budget in Croydon in half. So not completely defunded, but a lot defunded. Now, Croydon is a little bit of an interesting school district in that it's one of those small towns in New Hampshire that has, like, literally a one-room schoolhouse. And essentially what happens is that they have to send the kids to other schools across the state, like to private schools or to, like, other schools, because there's not enough, like, I guess, room in the one-room schoolhouse. And so the school budget was allocating $20,000 per student, which is $10,000 more than the average private school tuition price in New Hampshire. And the Libertarians got themselves in a position of power, and they brought a whole bunch of other Libertarians, in this case about 20, which is, for a town with a one-room schoolhouse, that's like a significant number. They brought a whole bunch of other people to a school board meeting, and they said, no, We will not be paying $20,000 per student when the average price of a private school is $10,000, and they literally voted to cut the school budget in half. That happened this year. It happened about a month and a half ago in Croydon that I know of in the entire to actually defund the schools. And so now the teachers unions in New Hampshire are really, 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 really pissed off at the Libertarians. And this was actually discovered by a Free Stater who was just scrolling around Facebook last night and happened upon the fact that the teachers unions have taken out ads opposing the Libertarians. Let's listen to this amazing ad.
It could happen in your town, to your school. Radical factions bent on destroying and dismantling our public schools. Now's not the time to let extreme politicians or outsiders pit us against one another. We've got to work together to make sure our kids get the education they deserve. Tell state legislators to oppose arbitrary budget caps that will hurt our schools. Our kids deserve a strong public education.
Look, paid for by the NEA New Hampshire. And you might say, Karlyn, that ad didn't sound like it was about Free Staters. Okay, let me
It
prove
could
you.
happen in your town.
Free Stater motion cuts Croydon budget in half. It could happen in your town. Yes, could happen in your town, New Hampshire. In fact, it is our mission to make it happen in every town in New Hampshire, to defund every public school in this state. When I'm elected governor of New Hampshire, I will absolutely make the property tax optional so that people can have an option. This is amazing. Can we all just admit that it is amazing that the NEA in New Hampshire is literally spending money on ads online attacking Free Staters? Why might they be doing that? Why might they deem that a necessity? Well, let's take a look at what happened today in New Hampshire. Because it wasn't just Croydon. Croydon is but one part of this story. The other part is, okay, so for some additional context, one of the reasons that Democrats are so worked up about libertarians in New Hampshire is libertarians actually have political power in New Hampshire. About like the largest voting bloc in the New Hampshire House of Representatives, technically they're Republicans, but really they're libertarians who registered as Republicans. They're Free Staters. They moved here for the specific purpose of getting elected to government in order to do this stuff. So it's not just a theoretical thing. Libertarians really do have political power in New Hampshire. Sadly, they just have to be registered as Republicans. So Republicans get the credit, but the Democrats know what's up. They know who's really pushing this stuff. And it ain't the GOP for the most part. Sometimes they do, but it ain't the GOP. It's the Libertarians. So here's what happened today. New Hampshire Senate passes Parental Bill of Rights. Soon it heads to the desk of Chris Sununu. The vote was 13-11, with John Reagan and Deerfield, Republican, joining all Senate Democrats in opposition. What is this bill, do you ask? Let's take a look. This bill is an act establishing a Parental Bill of Rights in New Hampshire, going to Chris Sununu's desk to sign. And let's read it. It's a real short bill, but I want you to show you the type of like education stuff that we're doing in New Hampshire right now and why they might be running ads opposing Free Staters. Oh God. I don't know how I can make this big without it totally blowing my screen. Okay, you guys are just gonna have to trust me on what it says, because in real life I actually need to be able to read it in order for this stream to work. So sorry I can't make it bigger. So, the Parental Bill of Rights in New Hampshire. The General Court finds that it is a fundamental right of parents to direct the upbringing, education, and care of their minor children. The General Court further finds the important information relating to a minor child should not be withheld or inadvertently or purposefully from his or her parent, including information related to the minor's education. The General Court further finds it is necessary to establish a consistent mechanism for parents to be notified of information relating to the health, education, and well-being of their minor children. And I just want to go down, and we're not going to read the whole thing, but so we'll look at this. Infringement of parental rights prohibited. The state any of its political subdivisions, including, without limitation, any school board, school district, or school administrative unit or other governmental entity shall not infringe on the fundamental rights of a parent to direct the upbringing and education of his or her minor child without demonstrating that such action is reasonable and necessary to achieve a compelling state interest, and that such action is narrowly tailored and cannot be achieved by less restrictive means. And then we get into parental rights. You guys are going to love this. 1. All parental rights are reserved to the parent of a minor child in this state without obstruction or interference from the state, any of its political subdivisions, including, without limitation, any school board, any school district, or school administrative unit, or any other governmental entity, including, but not limited to, all of the following rights of a parent of a minor child in this state. A. The right to direct the education and care of his or her minor child. B. The right to direct the upbringing and the moral or religious training of his or her minor child. C. The right to apply to enroll his or her minor child in a public school or, as an alternative to public education, a private school, including a religious school, a home education program, or other available options. D. The right to access and review all school records relating to his or her minor child. E. The right to be notified promptly if any employee of the state, any of its political subdivisions, or any of the governmental entity has a reasonable basis to believe that a criminal offense has been committed against his or her minor child, unless the incident has been first reported to law enforcement or a Bureau of Child Protective Services. 2. An employee of the state, any of its political subdivisions, all the other things, blah, 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 blah. Let me see. Hang on. Basically, this is saying a state employee cannot withhold information from the parent who is not suspected of a criminal offense against the minor, and sharing the information would not impede an investigation of a criminal offense against the minor. 3. A parent of a minor child in this state has the rights that are more comprehensive than those listed in this section. And then it goes into parental rights in education. Check this out. Each school board, school district, or school administrative unit shall, in consultation with parents, teachers, and administrators, develop and adopt publicly a policy to promote parental involvement in the public school system. How great is that? They are actually requiring public schools in New Hampshire to develop a system that would allow and encourage parental involvement in the schools. That's a really good thing. A plan for parental participation in schools to improve parent and teacher cooperation in such areas as homework, school attendance, and discipline. B, a procedure for a parent to learn about his or her minor child's course of study, including the source of any supplemental education materials. Hang on. C, procedures for a parent to learn about the nature and purpose of clubs and activities offered at his or her minor child's school, including those that are extracurricular or as part of a school curriculum. D, procedures for a parent to learn about gifted or special education programs offered in the district. E, procedures to learn about parental rights and responsibilities under general law. And then we got some other stuff here, but this is really good. A parent may request in writing from the superintendent the information required under this section. Within 10 days of such request, the superintendent will provide such information, which I think they already could have done anyway, but that's all right. So that's actually really good. New Hampshire is passing a law requiring that they develop a plan to make sure that parents are more involved in education, and that is why the teachers' unions are so freaked out that they are quite literally running ads against libertarians in New Hampshire. And there's going to be more stuff coming too. This is not by any stretch of the imagination the last thing. It might be the last thing. I'm not sure where other things are at in this legislative session, but there's always next legislative session to do. All right, so that's what's going on there. Now, I want to talk about hang on, this lady Who knows who Kathy Barnette is? Has anyone watched this lady? I had no. So apparently she's running in Pennsylvania. She's running for like Senate in Pennsylvania or something. And I had never heard of this lady until last night because it's Pennsylvania. Like, why would I watch something that's going on in Pennsylvania? But I have to say, I was really excited. So Mike Cernovich tweeted this out last night and he said, "Wow, who's this?" Check out this commercial.
I am you, Pennsylvania. And like you, I believe this is the greatest country that has ever existed. But like you, I believe our country is in trouble. I believe that the America that allowed me to claw my way out of dire poverty is about to come to a close. Listen, this time you do not have to hold your nose and vote for the lesser of two evils. I am in a statistical tie for first place. So voting for me is not throwing your vote away. Listen, go to my Facebook page at Kathy Barnette for Senate, and you will see exactly what I'm doing today that I will amp up tomorrow after this race. I have been going, and you will see me in rooms full of Black people changing their voter registration from Democrat to Republican. You will see me downtown in Chinatown. They are mine. You will see people ushering me in front of a room full of Amish people with them introducing me as someone with their values. Not only do I have a grasp on our own base, but I can go into every nook and cranny and take the votes that we need in order to really beat Fetterman in the general election. So let's go do this.
Dude, where the hell has she been? Where in the hell has she been? Why haven't the GOP been talking about her? Why? I feel like they've just been complaining about like Dr. Oz in Pennsylvania for like ever. Why haven't they been talking about her? That was fantastic. She's actually showing that she's going out and doing things. Like, why is this the first time that I've heard of her? What is going on? And this is not the only thing she has. I want to watch her ad. I actually haven't seen this ad yet, but I want to watch it. I just need to set it up real quick. I'm going to do a live reaction to this ad. It's from Kathy Barnette. She's at Kathy for Truth. I'm the byproduct of rape. My mother was 11 when I was conceived. In the world the left desires, I never would have been born. We need leaders with a steady hand to direct our nation through these difficult decisions. Now, this might be confusing to people because, again, I'm obviously pro-choice. I'm obviously very against the Republicans fucking around with Roe. I think that's been absolutely disastrous, and I think it's going to be even more disastrous in the coming months. However, that doesn't mean I won't support pro-life people. It doesn't mean I think that pro-life positions are a reasonable position to have. What I do not support is pro-life for NPCs, which basically are pod people that are no different than woke fucking leftists that can't have any conversation about any reasonable solution to this at all, that just come in and demand and demand and demand and scream and cry when you don't give them their way, and they just say the same thing over and over and over again, no matter what you say. They think women should be strapped down to gurneys to be used as human incubators. They completely dismiss people who've been raped, by the way. It's just like they're awful, awful people. But that doesn't mean I don't think that there are good people with reasonable pro-life positions. And if there are good people with reasonable pro-life positions who are also going to fight, who are also actually going to get off the couch and do something, then I am pretty actually likely to support those people. So let's hear what Kathy has to say in this here ad.
I grew up in southern Alabama, very rural, one-stop sign town called Nichburg. Getting ready to go to college, I decided to go into the Army Reserves. I had to go get my birth certificate, mainly because the name was different. The name I had always grown up with was Nelson, but then come to find out there was something completely different on my birth certificate. Clearly, I could have done the math and realized just how young my mother was when she gave birth to me, but it was never something that truly resonated with me until I looked at my birth certificate for the very first time and just kind of studied it. Her gender, they called her a Negro girl, and that was the first thing I saw, and it just kind of grabbed my heart. But then I saw her age, and she was 12. And that just really struck a chord in me because I realized just how young my mother was when something so horrible had visited upon her Even to this day, it's a very hard word to say, but my mother was raped, given her young age at 11 years old, my father being 21.
They was hurt. We was all devastated. But my mother said, you know, you pregnant, so we're gonna get through this. And she helped me get through it. I don't want to use the word choice. She was gonna be born. I didn't have a choice to say, you're gonna live, I'm going to abort you. That wasn't a choice for me. And I thank God it wasn't a choice for me.
As a child, I knew no difference. I was loved, and I felt loved. It gave me a greater appreciation for my mother. It helped me to forgive a lot of the mistakes someone at that age, having gone through such trauma, would have made in their own parenting. But it definitely made me become very adamant about the sanctity of life, of all life, regardless of their conception, regardless of how they arrived, that I am invaluable, I'm worthy, and my life has purpose. Before the foundation of the world, God saw me and he decided that I would be. And he said in his word that not only did I see you, but I called you, I predestined you. And so as a Christian, I believe in the value of life, that when I was in my mother's womb, he was knitting me together. Even among Christians, even among staunch conservatives, an exception to the rule of being pro-life for many is in the case of rape. And yet my life has value. From me has come two very beautiful and charming and smart kids, married to a wonderful husband. We've made a life for ourselves, and none of this would have happened if the exception to the rule had applied.
Regardless of how old you are and how the child was conceived, that child deserved a chance. And if I had made that choice, where would I be at right now without my daughter?
The hardest struggle for my mother, the hardest thing for her to overcome, I think, is just the effects of the trauma itself. And that is why I think it's so important to help people understand that the trauma has already been inflicted. The child should not be inflicted with the consequences that squarely belongs on the one who inflicted the trauma. We have to be able to see the difference. Aborting me would not have eased the trauma that my mother suffered. Aborting me would not have allowed me to be in a place today where I can now take care of my mother.
It's just amazing to see them grow up. Regardless of how my life started out, I'm blessed.
I'm not left with bitterness. I'm left with overwhelming sense of gratitude that not only did God see value in my life, but that my family saw value in my life. I'm very grateful for that. I'm eternally grateful that they chose to allow me to be born.
If conservatives want to end abortion, this is how they do it. If pro-lifers really want to end abortion or reduce abortion, this is how they should do it. By changing minds, by telling stories, by changing hearts, by articulating their values. That's how they should do it. That's the productive thing that they should have been focused on all along. In some respects, you know, what we just saw was an extremely powerful story. And again, I don't know why Kathy hasn't gotten more GOP support. It breaks my heart that she hasn't gotten more GOP support because she gets it. She gets it. Incognito says Republicans support her. She connects with mothers. She should have already gotten a lot more. Like, she should have been all over the place. I'm sorry. I should have heard of her before last night. I mean, I know many people did. Obviously, I'm a little late. Like, some people were ahead of me, but here's the thing. What Republicans have defaulted to doing is trying to do this through legislation and doing it by demanding other people listen to them and other people see the world that they do. And if you don't see the world that the way they do, they want to force you to. What Kathy has just shown us is that there are many other ways to achieve the goal. There are many other ways that are significantly more effective than forcing your will on other people. You know, a lot of people say, and I tend to agree with this, the battle that we're fighting right now is not really left versus right. It's authoritarian versus libertarian. And there are authoritarians on the left and there are authoritarians on the right. And I quite frankly view people who want to regulate what people do with their bodies as authoritarians. Every single individual is going to suffer the consequences of their decisions, either through karma, which is what I believe, or you know, for Christians after they die. Every single person is going to suffer the consequences of their decisions in this regard. But trying to pass laws that tell other people what they can and cannot do with their body is wrong from my perspective. It's an authoritarian measure, and it's not even going to reduce abortions. It never has. If you really want to reduce abortions, you need to tell more stories. You need to do what Kathy just did. That single ad would probably be more effective at reducing abortions than any law the Republicans could ever pass. Because if someone wants to get an abortion, they're going to figure it out. They're going to find a way. There were abortions before they were legal. But what you want to be doing is teaching people that perspective. And I'm saying that as someone who I believe in the exception. I do not believe that women who are raped should be forced to have the child of their rapist. But I can also acknowledge stories like Kathy's and like her mother's, where some of those women do make that choice. Because that's what choice means. You can make the choice to do it, or you can make the choice not to do it. And if conservatives were serious about saving babies, protecting the unborn, this is where they should be focusing their energy. It actually kind of frankly infuriates me that the GOP has not invested a metric F ton of money in airing that ad nationally. That's frustrating to me. And I say that as someone that's pro-choice. That's frustrating to me that they haven't done that, because I think that that ad and that story are beautiful and they should be seen by as many eyes as possible. AD, we will never end abortion. It's like an asymptote. Get closer to zero, but never quite there. I don't know that word. AD knows all the fancy words. I don't know that word. I don't know all the words in the world, guys. Jared said, she should not have been born in the eyes of the left. The left loves personal struggle, but once you overcome it, you are wasted on them. That's a story that should be told too, Jared. I agree with you. The world is a better place because Kathy is in it. It is. She seems like a really nice lady. She seems like she's got a great family. It seems like she is a leader. She wants to help people. It seems like she has a genuine desire to serve. This is a beautiful story that could be used over and over and over again to actually change minds. God, the fucking right frustrates me so much. They have every single thing that they need, and they just flatly refuse to use it. They flatly refuse. Well, here's hope Kathy wins the primary. That'd be pretty great. Did Trump endorse, is she actually running against Dr. Oz? Is that who she's running against? Did Trump endorse Oz? God damn, Trump is an idiot. Yeah, Emily says it's the same when conservatives fight against sex ed in schools, something that would help and they don't want. That's exactly right, Emily. It's like if you're serious about reducing the number of abortions, you need to reduce the number of unwanted pregnancies, and you know what can do that? Condoms. That story going viral would help more than standing on a corner and yelling at someone. That story would help more than calling someone a baby killer. or insulting someone. That story was more effective than every single pro-life NPC I have ever encountered on Twitter, and I've encountered thousands of them. This is a lesson that the right needs to learn at some point, and I fear they aren't going to learn it soon enough. That if they're serious about achieving their goals, if they actually care about the goals, they need to be strategic in how they're fighting. And insulting people and calling them names like libtard and baby killer and abortionist, like doing that is not going to change anyone's mind. It literally zero minds are changed. But a story like that changes people's minds. Why didn't Trump endorse her? God, Trump is such an idiot who gets bad advice. Trump makes smart decisions sometimes, but he gets horrible, awful advice from horrible, awful advisors. All right. Well, that was a good way to decompress, guys. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to save those couple of stories that I brought up for next time because I've had a rough week and I kind of just want to be honest, I kind of want to go hang out with Victor, who I have barely seen, I feel like, in forever. But before we wrap up today, do you guys want to see something really cool? I got to show you this. So a while back, so you guys know the painter, the main painter that I have on the wall behind me, the one that did, hang on, this painting, and the one that did the head, hang on, where is it? This painting, that's a painter named Create. I love Create, K-R-E, the number 8. He's like one of my favorite artists. He's from Miami. He's amazing. And I have so many of his works. And so I actually started following Create's protege, and they work out of the same studio, and his name is Sneak. He is on Instagram at Hey Sneak. And several months ago, I saw Sneak post this photo, or this painting. Not a photo. Well, it is. I guess it is a photo, but it is a painting. And so, and it's a Leo painting. And I saw this, I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. And Sneak's work is like really, really cool. We'll look at some of it. But after I saw this painting, I was like, oh my God, I want it. I loved that he made the sign for Leo into a monocle. I thought that was like so creative. And it's just like, what I love about Sneak is he has this controlled chaos about him. Like his paintings are like it's like an explosion. It's like you can see that he's influenced by Create, and maybe Create's influenced by him, but it's like it's an explosion of color, but like everything is controlled and it all makes sense when you put it together. So I saw this and I sent him a DM and I was like, if you ever do an Aries painting, let me know. And he said, I'm an Aries. I will totally paint you an Aries painting. And so I commissioned, and this was like back last year sometime, I commissioned a painting based on this with no concept at all. I said, paint me an Aries painting just like you painted that Leo. And I finally saw it last night. I finally got to see it. He finally finished it. Do you guys want to see my painting? I was so excited. That's my painting. That's my Aries painting. How badass is that? I love it so much. I love it so much. Here's the actual post. If you guys want to know why I'm a little fiery, it's because I have Aries and I'm an Aries and I have a Leo moon. It's so good. Like I just like sometimes when you commission things, like it's just like it doesn't come out exactly like you want, or like because I literally gave him no direction. I said I want an Aries painting, go. And I gave him no direction beyond that. And I was wondering how it was going to come out, and I was just like, I love everything about this painting. I love everything about it. I love the ram. I love where he put the Aries sign. I love the look of like, I feel like this is like my spirit animal right here. I love the gold outline that he did. I love the explosion of red, and he even got some cool colors in there. I like that, like the green is like basically the color on my wall. It's so good. It's so good. I'm really excited about it. and I'm going to be redoing kind of like my backdrop that you see in the videos. And I've kind of been waiting on this painting. I wanted to feature this painting on my background. And so now that it's done and I'm going to get it shipped out here, and I don't know if I want to frame it or not. I'm kind of like, I have mixed feelings on whether or not I should frame it because I just think it's so cool like it is. I don't necessarily want a frame overpowering it. We're going to see. But I wanted to share with you guys just because I'm so excited. Well, it looks like 77% of you think that I would win the charity boxing match with Carrie. So that's good. I can dream about that tonight. Yeah, Tom J says no frame. Yeah, I don't think it needs a frame. I don't think it, but what isn't this going to be cool to have the ram looking over my shoulder just like staring my enemies down? Awesome. All right, guys. Well, no, Brent, I'm gonna be painting the wall. I'm ready for a new color. I've had this color on my wall for like a really long time. I chose this color because it's the primary color of my like brand palette for my organizational psychology practice. And I'm ready for something new. I'm not quite sure yet. I'm thinking maybe a gray because I think that'll, or like a darker color because I think that'll make brighter colors pop off of it. So I might do like a gray, like a steel. I might do a dark blue. I might do a dark purple. I don't know. I'm going to play around with some stuff and we're going to come up with a plan. But this painting is definitely going to get featured. All right, guys. If you enjoyed the show today, please mount the like button on the way out the door. Oh, as a reminder for people in my locals, I will make an announcement in locals right after this, but it's 7 p.m. tonight. If you are a supporter in my locals community, not that one, that one. If you're a supporter in my locals community, you can join Writers Group at 7 p.m. tonight in my supporter only Discord. If you are not in the supporter only Discord, I think there's a link pinned to the top of my locals, and if not, I will add the link. I will make an announcement right after this, and I will include the link for supporters to join the Discord if you haven't already. And this is a writers group that's run by LK and Sin and Justin, and basically anyone that wants to write or do any sort of creative project is welcome. This is one of the many things that we do in locals because I am convinced that, you know, changing culture, like I said, the Republicans need to change culture. The Republicans need to tell stories. Well, in my community, we are actually trying to bring people together to help inspire each other and create stories, create art, create written product that is not woke bullshit, that actually can tell the stories of humanity. And so the writers group is getting together in about half an hour in the supporter Discord, and I'll be sending out an announcement about that. So you got plenty of time to join. And if you would like to do that, you can join by heading over to kb.locals.com/support. You can sign up for $5 a month. You can sign up for $50 a year, which gives you 2 months for free. You can also make a one-time gift. All that's going to get access to the supporter Discord. It's going to get you access to our 2 weekly Zoom calls. It's going to get access to our Bitchcraft that's happening next weekend. It's going to get you access to random live streams where I talk about charity boxing matches. It's going to get you access to all that and much more. And we have a great time and would love to welcome you into the community. All right, guys, that's all we have for today. Now, as a reminder, tomorrow we will be going over to my second YouTube channel. It is youtube.com/activelyunwoke. And we will be gathering for happy hour at 5 p.m. Happy hour is a time when we get to watch a live stream of a woke training, and it's not live. I mean, it's a video. I haven't picked out the training yet, and we get to comment on it and have some drinks. It's basically like the stream we did yesterday with the abortion stuff, except it's on Fridays and I drink beer. And so join us for happy hour tomorrow at 5 p.m. on youtube.com/activelyunwoke. And if you're watching on Odyssey or Rockfin or Rumble, I will be streaming on the same channel that I always do because I don't need 2 channels on every single platform. I just need it on YouTube because of censorship bullshit and nonsense. All right, guys, that's all we have for today. Take care, and we'll see you soon.